Gentlemen, start your engines.
And up and down Shoreline Drive, the Indy cars, 28 of them, respond to the challenge. We're ready to go racing for the 4th time this year in the Indy cars. The Brat Pack, Villeneuve, Tracy, Gordon. The oldest is 26. Villeneuve turns 24 today. He won the season opener in Miami. Paul Tracy scored a thinking man's win in Australia for owners Paul Newman and Carl Haas. Last week at Phoenix, Robbie Gordon took the lead with 5 miles to go to score his first IndyCar win. Young, fearless, exciting, the Brat Pack. Will they continue their winning ways?
Not if I have anything to do with it. Long Beach is mine.
It's a beautiful day here in Southern California for round 4 of the PPG IndyCar World Series, the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. And so far, we have seen this year a series in which nothing is predictable and everything seems to be a surprise. Consider that the defending champion, Al Unser Jr., has not yet scored even in the top of the field. Is this the day that perhaps we will see him score his first victory of the year? He started off in qualifying at 27th, moved up to 4th yesterday. All right, let's take a look at the starting grid here. Michael Andretti is on the pole with a new track record. Paul Tracy alongside. In row 2, it's Jill DeFerrin and Al Unser Jr. The 3rd row, Mauricio Gugelmin and Bobby Rahal in his 200 start. Row 4, Teo Fabi and Jimmy Vasser. In the 5th row, Emerson Fittipaldi and Scott Pruitt. In the 6th row, Jacques Villeneuve and Christian Fittipaldi, who is in his backup car. He changed this morning. In row 7, it's Raul Boesel and the Phoenix winner Robbie Gordon. The 8th row, Brian Herta and Adrian Fernandez. In row 9, Danny Sullivan and Eddie Cheever. The 10th row, rookie Carlos Guerrero from Mexico and Alessandro Zampedri. In row 11, Andre Ribeiro and Eric Bachelard. In row 12, Marco Greco and Stefan Johansson. The 13th row, Eliseo Salazar and Frank Freon. And the 14th and final row, Hiro Matsushita and Dean Hall. So now they circle the course here at Long Beach. It's a magnificent circuit, Bobby Unser.
It's a beautiful track, but there's only 2 good places to pass. Look at that, going into turn 1 and going into turn 6. Other than that, it is a beautiful track.
So the 28 Indy cars down. This is Seaside. This is the backside of the course. 166.9 miles, 105 laps on the line here today. Fuel stops are very critical here. We expect the first stop between 30 and 35 laps, and generally you will see them all stop on the same lap. Now that's a key corner right there where they will make passes, but boy, it really requires a lot of courage. I'm Paul Page with Sam Posey, Bobby Unser. Jack Arute and Gary Gerould are in the pits, and they're making the final turn, and then they will come into alignment, ready to start this run here on the streets. A race that always produces some magnificent results. The Toyota pace car rolls for the pits. The front row comes off the corner nice and clean. We take a look for the start, and no start. No start. They were not well aligned in the front row. Not well aligned in the front row at all. And you can see the rest of the field continuing to straggle off. Let's go down. We can get some update on a couple of stories that have developed here this weekend and start with Jack Arute.
Well, Paul, remember at Phoenix we talked about the new addition of the Ford power plant that Ford is gearing towards the Indianapolis 500. Their team, Ganassi and Newman Haas, had it aboard. Well, once again, both teams had it aboard for qualifying. But here's what we've learned. This team, Ganassi, both cars for Brian Herta and for Jimmy Vasser, they have the Ford Cosworth XP Phase 2 on board for the race the first time. What about Newman Haas, Gary Gerould?
Well, for both drivers that start in the front row, Paul Tracy and Michael Andretti, they used it in practice, they used it to qualify, but they did not have it in the cars for the warm-up session this morning, and there was a problem for Michael Andretti. It proved to be in the plenum, the upper part of the engine. Consequently, they had to make an engine change. Your pole sitter now shaking it down for the very first time as he goes around on this first lap under yellow. Paul?
You know, Paul, that isn't really a good sign. Nobody likes to change an engine without trying it out before the race starts. But that's going to have to happen. And, of course, that's what the competition is hoping for, that they can beat Michael on account of not having his engine in.
Michael Andretti. You see the onboard camera shot. As he gets everybody aligned, let's see if we can see a green this time. We do. Here we go. And boy, they're 4 wide already. Rest of the field comes off nice and single file. And look at DeFerrin. DeFerrin is going to challenge Michael Andretti in the first corner. Tracy comes to the outside. Al Unser Jr. closes up. It looks like they touch. Michael, Paul Tracy, DeFerrin, Al Unser Jr., Mauricio Gugelmin, Bobby Rahal through the second, third, and fourth turns now. Coming back up to top speed.
The incredible thing is they're running right now exactly as they qualified, but that first turn was one of the wildest scrambles we've seen this year.
We always know the contest, Sam, is going to be going into the first turn. It's awfully easy to pass at the start as opposed to on the track right here.
Well, DeFerrin, as Paul pointed out, has qualified highest of all the rookie drivers for each of the races, and boy, he really put his nose in just then.
Off of the tight hairpin, the tightest part of the race course. The conclusion of lap number 1, and Michael Andretti owns it. Paul Tracy is chasing. You ride with him. Slamming down through the gears now on the brakes.
Tracy leads the point championship, but it's Michael Andretti who's really been the fastest through the season.
Teo Fabi makes a move, getting around Bobby Rahal for 6th place. You watch from Rahal's car. That's Teo just ahead.
Now that was a fast going into turn 1. Everybody keep watching here throughout the entire race. Turn 1 and turn 6 is where most of the passing is going to happen.
There's Mauricio Gugelmin.
This is the back straightaway going into turn 6 now.
Bobby Rahal trying to catch back up to Teo Fabi.
Here's the place right here in turn 6. That's where we'll see some more passing today.
Back 2 left-hand turns, spinning around onto the final hairpin turn, and then back onto the straight. They're sitting right at opposite lock, or at full lock, trying to get the car around that corner. Very tight.
Gugelmin started 5th, Bobby in 7th, so Bobby is really on the attack at this point. You see him just ahead of Rahal's car there. He's pulled away that much in just 1 lap.
Let's go back up to the front of the field. Michael Andretti. You can see the interval as we look down from the blimp. That's Paul Tracy in second. DeFerrin has dropped back just a bit. But the 2 Newman Haas cars seem to be equally matched here. There's Seaside.
And they're 2 of the hardest charges there are. Watch them as you go down. Down the straightaway, they're virtually the same engines, the same cars, just different paint jobs.
Remember, they are teammates. It's odd that they had that problem at the start because they have been extremely cooperative on the racetrack, Michael Andretti and Paul Tracy have so far this year.
See how the field compresses as they come around the hairpin and onto the pit straight, the main stretch here. There's the start-finish line. Let's go on board Paul Tracy's car right now. Look at that. Blowback from Michael's car. Oil, what do you think, Bobby?
Well, you know, there's nothing abnormal right now. Everybody should be taking it just a little bit easy right now. But remember, everybody was hoping, again, talking about the engine, that Michael and Paul Tracy don't have the new Ford engines in there, the XB2. But by the same token, we do have them in the Ganassi cars. Now, everybody was taking the leader right here. Michael Andretti was going to slow down because of this. Right now, it doesn't look like it, though.
This has really been the story of the season so far, hasn't it, Paul and Bobby? Michael out front, Paul Tracy, of all people, driving a canny and strategic race. Kind of the reverse of what you might have expected before the season started.
And Michael Andretti with some terrible luck this year. 3 poles has yet to score his victory. You can see 1st through 4th right together there, and there is the battle for 3rd as Al Unser Jr. moving up on Gil DeFerrin.
Remember, Al Unser Jr., master of late braking here.
There it is right there. Whoa, be careful. Wow.
Wow.
Runners, and did he
hit the wall? Yes, he did.
Now
Now
he
they
hit
touched.
DeFerrin.
Boy, that's... Well, it's hard to pass here. We said it was, and you can just see by that. That was determination from both of them. Don't give in. They do a lot of taking, though.
Whenever there's contact like that, you wonder, did it damage the car? I doubt if Little Al's car is damaged by either of those things. Do you think, Bobby?
What I wonder there is whether or not Little Al brushed him back. Now, it looked like something came off the wall. Might have just been a piece of paper from the side.
No, he hit the wall. It
That's
straightened
the
the car
bad
out.
part, though. If anything is going to hurt, the front end hitting right there isn't hurting anything. But the right rear against the wall, that's what he's got to worry about. Wouldn't even readjust the toe in on the wheel a little bit. That would bother him if it did.
Boy, DeFerrin just got a little taste of what has made Al Unser Jr. the preeminent driver here at Long Beach. 5 victories for that man.
Yeah, but he always does it passing, Paul and Sam, going into turn 1, if you remember.
Yep, that's true.
But the question we're going to have to be asking in the Penske pit is, did that little confrontation end up with some sort of change to the front end of Little Al's car? It was a car that he said wasn't handling all that good to begin with. Jack Arute, what's the story?
Well, Paul, let's update you. Al Unser Jr. radioed in to Richard Buck and to Roger Penske as to what happened in that pass. He said, we slapped wheels. He says, not to be concerned. Everything seems to be riding A-OK right now.
You know, as bad as he was looking at the front end, because he kind of had a hunch it was going to be touching up there, he might not even have known that he touched the wall with his rear tire, Paul.
Mauricio Guzman, you saw him there, really locked him up as he came into the corner off of Seaside, making that right-hander. And it lost the position for him. Rahal was able to get around. Al Unser Jr. runs in third place. The big question mark here today. Can he score yet another victory? He knows this track better than any other man. But Michael Andretti is very hungry for a victory. And right now, he is the leader of the race, followed by his teammate, Paul Tracy. Back at the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach, everything remains the same at the front. We are now looking back in 12th position. Nice battle for 12th as Christian Fittipaldi is duking it out with Brian Herta, the pole sitter a week ago. Now you're on board with Herta.
These two guys have been duking it out all day. All weekend. I've been watching them during practice doing the same things.
Christian Fittipaldi, will be remembered, is starting in his backup car. Now, they are fitted identically. He probably hardly tells the difference between that and his primary car.
Turn one, Herta moves out, takes advantage of the wider approach into the corner. Robbie Gordon's just behind him and closing in. Whoop, and Danny Sullivan. Sullivan off in turn one. And also Adrian Fernandez. That'll happen under braking. Two guys get side by side and you go off together.
Well, what happens is they often lock up the rear brakes. Now, he needs to push backwards because he can't get his car in reverse, providing he has one in the car.
Supposed to have one. Rule says he should have one.
Rule says so, but the guys have a hard time getting reverses out of these cars. It's all he needs. Get the car going backwards. Looks like his engine is probably running.
Now, what about Sullivan's car? If they touch, then they spun. Did he touch anything else? Nothing obvious in the right front suspension, but that's all we can see. He's driving it like it's in good shape. Here's what happened.
Sullivan, of course,
down the inside.
A previous winner here, qualified only 17th.
He went down, locked up his rear brakes. Of course, you can't see Danny right around the corner, but he took Fernandez out with him because he just spun going in.
But Fernandez didn't hit anything, so if he can get going again, he'll be okay. Waving yellow. You see from Sullivan's car the waving yellow that signals that I guess that Fernandez is now going okay.
Let's go to Jack Arute.
Well, guys, we've gone to the 21st century here in Team Penske. We talk all the time about onboard telemetry. Well, when there was that full body contact between DeFerrin and Al Unser Jr., Richard Buck ran over here where the telemetry is and said, check each and every part of the telemetry, especially the right rear area. They called it up on the ThinkPad computer. They checked the readouts. They said, he's fine, no problem.
And that means that they have little sending units on all these wheels and on many things on the car. And it transmits in whether or not the toe end is changed on the car or with the shock travel is still the same. And that's what they mean when they say it's okay. Those items are still working.
They can even monitor tire pressure on those things now by telemetry. It's amazing. They've been doing that for about almost a year now.
Between Michael Andretti and his dad, Mario, the Andrettis have won 4 races here at Long Beach. Michael has won only 1. Al Unser Jr. has won 5. This is the chance for Michael to square it up at 5 apiece if he can hang on to this lead. Sort of the battle between the Montagues and the Capulets, I think, for domination here at Long Beach.
Now Al Unser Jr. closes in on Paul Tracy. The battle is back at the front of the field. Nothing's changed here. Michael is first, followed by Tracy, then Al Unser Jr., then Gil DeFerrin, and then Teo Fabi.
It's obvious that Tracy he might want to give Michael some breathing room, but he has now come under pressure from Al Jr., and this is a real battle for the lead.
You can watch little Al. When he starts faking the passes on somebody, he's on the prowl. That means that he's trying to get him worried a little bit. And he's going to pass them. They just don't know which side. You know, the idea sometimes when you're going down to turn 1, if he can make them pull to the right real tight, each lap trying to block him, he'll just whiz by him on the left. That's a famous way to pass guys.
You'll notice his helmet. The first couple of races of the year, he had a helmet a lot like Emerson Fittipaldi's. That didn't bring him any luck, so he changed back to the helmet that he was wearing last year when he won the championship.
Is it that, or is it a product of last week you were using the high-speed helmet, and you don't really need the high-speed helmet here? That's really the case, isn't it?
No, we had this helmet at Phoenix, Paul.
Yeah,